Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Drayton Park Golf Club. I'm in my swing studio. I'm joined by my new assistant, Michael.
Hi guys.
And what we're going to be doing is talking through Michael's putting. So it's an area of the game. He's a very good golfer, was playing off a 1 handicap, just turned pro. But putting, I think, is probably your weakest area, a short game you talked about at least.
Not the best.
So Michael struggles leaving the putt short generally, so normally not really getting the run at the hole, leaving too many putts short. So we're going to use the Tommy putting system. We're going to record 5 shots or 5 putts. We're going to talk through the data to see if we can work out why he's leaving these putts short. Hopefully give him some exercises or a feeling that he could use to then remeasure the putts and see if we can make that improvement. So what we're doing here is don't hold them all, these are meant to be your bad putts. What we're going to be doing here is there's a system on the putter and another system, the Tommy system, measuring the putter, and it's looking at the 4 lights on there and it's able to measure the stroke length, the rotation, where the club face is pointing at impact and setup, the loft on the putter as well. Have you missed one yet?
Not yet.
Great. So what we can see there, guys, on the screen is the 2 things I really want to highlight. The first part is the shaft angle. So that's where the hands are at impact compared to where they were at setup. So what it's suggesting is on the average of those 4 putts, Michael's hands were 2.6 degrees behind where they started. So he's adding loft to the putter. We can also see with the strike location, there was 1 rogue heel shot in there. It'll only measure C for centre, T for toe, H for heel. So he got 3 out of the 4 out the centre, but you can see they're pretty low out the putter head. So what I can see there is the putter is rising too much into impact. It's striking the bottom of the putter head, and his hands are actually slightly behind where they started. So we know he's adding loft on. Your average putter starts with 3.5 degrees of loft on. We should be de-lofting it. We should be taking a little bit of loft off the putter head. The ideal, if the greens are good, is just 1 degree of dynamic loft. If it's winter time, a little bit bumpy, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit more loft on there, and that's what you'll see some of the tour players do. Depending on the course style they're playing on, they may be changing the lofts of the putters slightly. But we should be de-lofting the putter rather than adding loft on is the key point to take from this. So Michael is, as I said, striking too much on the way up. He's hitting out the bottom of the putter and his hands are behind. So we know that he's adding on loft, hence leaving them short. Now, he did manage to get to them to the hole on those ones. In fact, he did a really good job of holing them, but we were only hitting a 10-foot putt. So where Michael really struggles is on the distance putts, getting them to the hole, and then he's leaving himself too many of those 3 and 4 footers for his second putt. So I'm going to try and give him some exercises to help him work on getting the handle a little bit more forwards, hopefully improving the strike location as well. So what we're seeing there is at impact, your hands are slightly behind where they started. So 2.5 degrees, which is only a little amount. But when we've got a 3.5 degree putter and your hands are coming 2.5 degrees behind their start location, we're adding on loft to the putter. So we're starting to get the ball to fly too much. It's then going to be bouncing, skidding before it starts bouncing and then turning into pure roll. So what we're really going to be trying to do is start with your handle slightly more ahead of the putter head. When I do that, you should start to feel a little bit more pressure into your lead leg, into your left leg when we get that putter head forwards. And I'm going to give you an exercise, and that's why I've got a little cane here. This could be just a T-peg, but what I want Michael to go ahead and do for us, if I push this in the end of the club, what I'm going to ask him to do is to try and keep the cane slightly nearer his lead arm. So what I see far too often is as the putter's going back, the cane is moving towards your trail arm. I want to keep it pointing ahead of your navel, of your belly button. So it's going to feel like there's a little bit of wrist hinge in there to keep the cane slightly nearer your lead arm. and it's going to stay near your lead arm. So it's almost like your hands are leading the putter rather than actually adding a little loft. So before we go ahead and measure a couple, if you just get that set up position, I know it's a little bit awkward with the cane, but we're going to have that feeling, and with the cane there up your left side anyway, it automatically pushes your hands a little bit more forwards. Yeah. I want you to feel like you're starting with a good 70% of your pressure on your lead side. And what you can see here, guys, is this cane is actually staying much closer to Michael's lead arm rather than, and actually we need to be shorter down the shaft to be able to achieve it, wouldn't it? But if you set up there and your hands are moving backwards, you can see the cane is actually moving behind his belly button. And we know at impact, he's adding a little bit of loft onto the putter and struggling. So it's going to feel like you're probably striking downwards on it a little bit more when you've used to been hitting up on the ball. Good. That feeling of hands a little bit more forwards, a little bit more pressure onto your lead leg. And we're going to almost stop the end of the grip moving as much. Looks a good solid putt. You've got to hole the next three at least. Look good. Definitely feels like a much nicer roll. Great. You'll actually find you won't have to hit the ball as hard to get the ball to the hole. So it will start to feel like you can stroke the ball rather than hit at it. So we're not worrying too much, I know I'm giving some abuse, and we're not looking too much at how many he's holding at the minute, just really looking strike location and loft on the club. It didn't measure that last one, but again, we'll just have the data from the 4. So guys, looking at the results from those 4 shots we've just hit, the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is the impact location. He was hitting it roughly out the centre before from bottom to top. Sorry, from heel to toe, but it was out the bottom of the putter. So what we can see from that is the strike location is much higher up towards the sweet spot, so it's going to be giving him a better roll straight away. The other thing that we were really looking at was the shaft angle. So he's gone from 2.5 degrees behind at impact, so behind his start position, to on those 4 putts, actually his hands being 1.1 degrees ahead. So he's actually now starting to get a little bit more shaft lean at impact and taking off a little bit of loft from the putter. That's really going to give him a much better roll. Initially what he'll find is that he's actually hitting the ball too far. But having left a lot of putts short, that's going to be a really good thing to see. He'll take a little bit of time to get used to how much speed he really needs to put into it, the length of stroke he needs to make. But that self-calibration will happen just over a couple of practice sessions on the putting green. All in all, I'm much happier with that. I'm not going to worry too much talking about the path and the stroke and the rotation. Michael's path is actually very, very good. He gets the club face 4.5 degrees open on the backswing. And we know at impact, the club face was, well, as an average, 0.3 open. It was pretty square. And the club face is 5.5 degrees closed at the follow-through position at the finish. So Michael has a nice minimal arc to his stroke and is pretty good at squaring the club face. The issue he had really was with adding loft to the putter and coming up short. So this is really going to help him. So thanks for joining me, Michael. That was great.
Thank you very much.
I hope that helps.
Absolutely.
He really looked like he was rolling the ball better there, and I know he's going to have more success on the green. If it's something you struggle with, definitely check your handle position that you are not adding loft. A great feeling is to put a little bit more pressure onto that lead leg and start with your hands a little bit more ahead before you start the stroke. If you did enjoy the content of the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel for all the other videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:30. And check us out on all our social media. All the info's coming along the bottom of the screen right now for you. Thanks guys, we'll see you soon.